Would the council please come to order? Could we have your attention, please? We will have a quorum momentarily, but we do have some presentations. So let me point out that this is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 4th day of June, 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. So with that, we will start with some presentations. And I'm going to, Cindy, would you please?
She could, for 1 minute, introduce the new director of the museum.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes Councilman Ferraro.
I just want to know if the North Hollywood students are here yet. Would you please come up? Members of the council. I don't know if I'm respected by Joel Wax, and so if he wants to come up, he's welcome. But some of your remarks yesterday, Joel, maybe you'd rather not. First of all, would you get my glasses over there? We have some very special young people here today, and the coaches and the members of the North Hollywood High School National Science Bowl team have joined me at the podium. Don't they look intelligent? I'm not used to working with these kinds of people.
Right.
Just last month, some 53 student teams from across the nation were pitted against each other in the National Science Bowl. The competition continued for 2 days, included some brain-bending questions about physics, biology, and computer science. Even in the final moments of the North Hollywood, when the North Hollywood team knew that they were going to take second place, they never gave up and kept trying to win anyway. These young students came from away with an intense nationwide competition with a second place win and a reputation as a team that delivered a championship performance. In the heat of the competition, they maintained their focus, their composure, their courage, and their concentration. We're very proud that these students and their coaches are here, and we have certificates, but I'm going to call upon the coach, Noah Akeda, the team coach, and the members, and have the team coach introduce each one, and we'll present a certificate of appreciations to all of them. Coach?
Thank you very much for taking the time to allow us to be able to share with you our joy and our experience at being at the National Science Bowl in Washington, D.C., and to take home again for the second time, second place. And I'd like to introduce the students at this time. The first one, Iris Aronowitz, who's the captain. Okay. Okay. Paul Lakin. Okay.
Iris.
Okay. Next, Alec Belanca. Vinley Ng. Nina Han. And I get one for myself.
I'm Walter Zeisel, the Manager of Public Affairs with Department of Water and Power, and we have the pleasure of being the sponsor for what we call now the DWP Science Bowl, which is the qualifying regional tournament to the national competition. And from a citywide perspective, I just wanted to remind the city council members about the history as far as our local schools' success at the national level. This is the second year in a row that North Hollywood placed second at the national and also won our regional, but it's the fifth year in a row that one of our local city teams has placed either first or second. In 1995, Van Nuys High School won the national title, and then followed by Venice in 96 and 97. And the last two years in North Hollywood, that's 5 consecutive years in the actual finals. And this is really distinctive because no other, even state, a whole state, have been this successful. We as a city, and in partnership with the Los Angeles Unified School District, have this kind of distinction of having a better record than any other area, city, state, in the nation in this really vigorous competition. We can really be proud of these young people. And just a little plug more for our employees, and that is that our 75 employee volunteers came together as officials and actually helped organize the local event, which then provides the opportunity for the national competition and for our participation in it. We want to thank also the U.S. Department of Energy for their sponsoring the national title, national competition, as well as some of our local sponsors like Boeing and Hitachi and some of the other corporate companies. Again, we really appreciate the recognition for these fine young students, and the DWP is very excited to continue as being the major sponsor for this program in Los Angeles. Thank you very much, and thank you, Councilman.
One of the things that they requested is they go early because they do have classes and they have to get back. This is to show you the kind of students we have. Mrs. Goldberg?
Yes, I just want to add my congratulations. I taught recently at one of your rivals, Grant High School, but I noticed that you're here and they're not. In any case, we wish you the very best, and we're very proud of you, and we're very proud that it is the Los Angeles City Public Schools that produces young people such as you with the abilities and talents that you have.
Cindy?
Mr. Wax?
Yes, Madam President, I too wanted to share in this. On other occasions, I've had the honor to have students from North Hollywood High School here who have also distinguished themselves in the manner in which this fine team has. North Hollywood High School really has an extraordinary record of academic achievement, and last year, as you remember, they were singled out, I believe, in Newsweek magazine as the top academic high school in all of Los Angeles and one of the top in the nation. That is not a secret to those of us who represent North Hollywood, but it's been a little bit of a secret to people in the rest of the city, and it exemplifies the really excellent quality of student that we do have and the hope for the future that they represent. So I'm happy to join with Councilman Ferraro and the others today and all of my colleagues in congratulating you, and very well done in representing the school in the most distinguished way.
Thank you. Ms. Chick?
Very briefly, I'm proud to say that both of my daughters graduated from North Hollywood High School. We live right down the street for over a decade, although I'm not sure they would have been on this team. And also to point out that while El Camino High has quite a track record in winning the academic decathlon, I'm well aware, Mr. Wax, of the highly gifted magnet and the science students, and just kind of want to tout also both El Camino and North Hollywood High are proudly San Fernando Valley High Schools, as well as the City of Los Angeles. Thank you.
We also want to compliment the Department of Water and Power for their contribution. They do more than just supply the water and power for the city of Los Angeles, and they're the butt of many jokes in this council chamber at times, but congratulations. Thank you very much. Madam President, members of the council, I have another pleasure today. It's actually a little sadness because Joanne Hale is leaving as the executive director of the Gene Autry, or the Autry Western Heritage Museum. And Joanne, I've had the pleasure of working with her as a member of the board, and she's retiring. She's really helped create a world-class cultural and educational institution which serves Southern California community through its broad range of diverse, innovative programs and exhibitions. Joanne Hale was originally recruited for the museum 15 years ago by Gene and Jackie Autry, and she played a significant role in defining the museum's mission to preserve and interpret the history and traditions of the American West. Whereas during her 15 years, the Autry developed from a mere concept to a current 148,000 square foot building housing 7 permanent galleries and receiving accreditation from the American Association of Museums. Prior to the work at the Autry Museum, Joanne Hale served as a director of administration services for the United Sporting Goods Division of Edison Brothers, and was a founder and chairman of Sabre Products Incorporated. She served on the board of employer groups, the Music Center Operating Company of the Los Angeles County, the Downtown Women's Center, and the Board of Governors of Town Hall of Los Angeles, and while a member of the board of the Convention and Visitor Bureau. She was instrumental in establishing a cultural tourism as a regional priority. There's too many things to point out what she has done, but let me point out that she has successfully completed a seminar for historical administration in Williamsburg, Virginia, and is a alumnus of UCLA, yes.
all right, John.
UCLA, yeah. I have trouble with that. Whereas Joanne Hale has received numerous awards, again, too many to recall. Let me just point out that she was recently recognized as a Woman of Achievement Award at Louisville High School, the Monsignor Thomas A. Kiefer Humanitarian Award from the Bishop Aumont Memorial High School, and was named Humanitarian Honoree of California Hospital Medical Center 14th Annual Los Angeles Humanitarian Award Luncheon. Whereas Joanne Hale will continue her commitment to the museum as a member of the Board of Directors, now therefore be it resolved by the adoption of this resolution, we commend Joanne Hale for her extraordinary record of service to the Autry Museum of Western Heritage and the cultural educational community, and extends best wishes and continued success in all of her future endeavors. And I'd like to present this to her with real joy. Should point out that her husband, Monty Hale, could not be here today, but he has been very helpful for Joanne and her endeavors with the museum. Good.
Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Mr. Wax.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Let me just also add a word about this. Joanne is my constituent, my friend. And I think it's really important to point out the remarkable achievement. I remember working with you, Mr. President, and former Councilwoman Pat Russell when Jackie and Gene wanted to establish this museum. They had a vision. We worked together to find the space for them. He put up the money, and they had the intelligence of putting Joanne to be the director. And there were naysayers at the time who said, "Oh, this is just going to be a museum about Gene Autry," and they had a vision of something else. And now you have one of the preeminent institutions that is really devoted to the history and the traditions and the heritage of the Western history, which is so it's a part of our, integral part of our history as a city and as a people, and they have held the highest of standards, and they're recognized by their peers. It has been anything but what the naysayers was. It's what their vision was, and Joanne really was the instrument in making that possible. And so many, hundreds of thousands of kids go through that, people go through that institution every year and learn about our past and link it to the present. And I just wanted to congratulate you, Joanne. You have done an amazing job, and you have really proven them wrong, and you and Jean and Jackie right. And congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
The chair recognizes Ms. Goldberg.
Yeah, and I just want to add, go see the Woody Guthrie exhibition. That's it's quite extraordinary. When I taught English as a second language, I used Mr. Guthrie's songs as poetry for the kids to memorize, and it was a way to develop English language skills. So I hope some of them are going to go see it as well. I too just want to congratulate you. Particularly I have enjoyed the Native American kinds of exhibits that have been really, truly remarkable, the things that have come there in various different times over the years, and just to wish you well in whatever you choose next to do, and to thank you for that remarkable achievement.
Thank you, Jack.
Congratulations, Joanne. I would just like to add that not only have you created a cultural institution, which is a treasure, and which new generations are able to come and see what a lot of us grew up with when we saw the Western tradition and clear-cut good and bad moral values, but you yourself are a cultural treasure. So thank you for what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me point out to some of the members of the council, the Department of Recreation Parks did not want this where it is. And we overrode the Recreation and Parks Department, and I think we can all be very proud of what we have done, because this is a significant museum, one of the highlights of the city of Los Angeles, and we do have a lot of museums, but just sometimes we have to, the council has to take the bull by the horns and do the job that we are here elected for.
Okay,
Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Miss Walters is next to say.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And to Joanne, I just want to say that you've been an outstanding museum director. I appreciate the openness that you've shown toward all communities, and the invitations, the many invitations that you've extended to me, and I feel guilty as heck because I hadn't accepted them. But it wasn't because I don't appreciate you or the work that you're doing and that you did, and I think the city is losing a real treasure. So I'm glad that you will still be around on the board, and the best of everything to you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Councilmember Ridley Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and members of the council. Joanne, I think it's to be well appreciated that the growth, the expansion, the depth of the museum, being able to add to what has become one of the more culturally enriched environments in the nation, that is Los Angeles, has much to thank the Gene Autry Museum for. And it's because of your stellar leadership, and I think it ought to be appreciated that when we talk about a museum, there may be notions of the past that come to mind, but the staff that you have assembled has taken full advantage of technological innovation such that when you go into the Gene Autry Museum, you have a wonderful experience, audio-visual, as well as some of the state-of-the-art equipment to experience the fullness of the exhibits. And for that, I wish to thank you and commend you for your work, and certainly my boys do, as they had a tremendous time when they've visited there on several occasions. And Mr. President, members of council, Madam President, the good judgment of Joanne and the board has certainly been displayed, and the successor that has been named, we have a lot to be proud of in the person of John Gray, who I trust all of us will get to know better, and know that he too will make a tremendous contribution to this great museum, this great asset for the city of Los Angeles and beyond. So we thank you with a great degree of gratitude.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez? The chair recognizes Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. President, members of council, I also stand to recognize, because I've had several discussions about access to the museum and wanting to make sure some of the exhibits were reflective of the communities of Los Angeles. And I need to share with you that that's what's been happening. And the museum has done a tremendous job of opening its doors to at least the Latino community in a way where they've been able to learn a lot about their history. And I just appreciate the work that you've been doing there, and I just want to also stand and recognize you for that, because I criticize a lot and I ask a lot of questions, and then when the answers are there, it makes a lot of sense to commend people for the work they're doing. And from my perspective, you did a tremendous job there, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you know, we don't just teach, but we're a venue for people to participate in. That's the importance, participate in. But you know, this was Gene Autry's gift to the city of LA. He loved Western history from the time he was a child, and he wanted to share that so that the children and adults can come. We have 42,000 school children coming every year. That alone is major. And that was the most thrilling day of my life, was when the first school buses pulled up and I saw the first children coming at the museum. I thought, yes, this is what we're all about. And so I want to thank every one of you for being friends, and I hope to continue being friends. And it's my pleasure to introduce to all of you the new executive director, John Gray.
Thank you very much, Joanne, and to all of my friends on the council. It's wonderful to be back in Los Angeles, especially after a stint in Washington. It's thrilling to be here, but more importantly, to have the ability to step into the shoes of Joanne and fulfill the vision and expand it, and to take something that really is very unique to Los Angeles and continue to make it a real treasure. Thank you very much. And Joanne, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. The chair is going to recognize Councilmember Goldberg. Apparently she has a presentation.
Actually, I have two. The first is Shirley Edwards. And Shirley, I know she's here. Ah, there you are. Come on up. Why don't you have her right over here where everybody can see her? That's good, thank you. Chair and members of the council, this is Shirley Edwards, and we are here to honor her today for being a volunteer worker at Rampart Detectives for 15 years, from early 1984 through May of 1999. She has given 4 hours a day of her time every Tuesday for 15 years. Yes, I think so. She was also a volunteer for the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office Victims Assistance Program for 18 years. Shirley Edwards was a liaison with Rampart Detectives and assisted with the Los Angeles Victims of Violent Crimes. She reviewed police reports to identify injuries sustained by victims, prepared letters introducing victims to the program, and informed them of the financial assistance and other services available to them. Shirley Edwards worked with Rampart Detectives and assisted victims of sex crimes, abuse, and all violent crimes. She worked with Rampart Homicide Detectives and assisted family members of homicides and victims. Shirley Edwards worked with Rampart Juvenile Detectives and assisted victims of child abuse, those that were endangered or neglected. She was chosen as the Los Angeles District Attorney's 1996 Volunteer of the Year. Shirley Edwards is a dedicated and loyal volunteer who gives of herself so others can be comforted and treated for for their injuries and personal losses. And whereas Shirley is the nicest and most giving person who always brings happiness and rays of sunlight to employees and detectives of Rampart Operations Support Division, and whereas Shirley continues as a volunteer worker through her darkest hours after the passing of her late husband, Hal Edwards, in February 1998, disregarding her own loss and sorrow, continued working as a volunteer so others could get help. Now, therefore, it is my esteemed honor and pleasure to ask that by the adoption of this resolution, that you, the City Council, join me in commending Shirley Edwards for her outstanding efforts as a volunteer for Rampart Detectives, for the District Attorney's Office, and as a person who exemplifies really the essence of good civic citizenship in the city of Los Angeles. Please join me in thanking her. And she doesn't want to say anything at all, but I will tell you that there is nobody who is in or around Rampart Division that doesn't know this woman and doesn't respect and admire the amount of time and effort and caring that she has given to others, particularly when they have been victims of crime and need someone to help them through the maze of what to do next. So thank you very much. I have one more, but I want to finish this first.
So did John Kennedy and so did Abe Lincoln.
That's right. You know, I understand that Tom Bradley's actually going to Denver with Clinton tonight to talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you for all those years.
I think somebody from Rampart.
Oh, I asked them, did anybody want to speak? Nope. Okay, okay. No, I thought they did. Next, I'd like to ask if members of the 100th and 442nd MIS group are here, and if they would join me up at the podium, please. How you doing? Good to see you again. Let's get everybody up here. How you doing? Why don't you just stand up here and I'll read through this, and I'll give you a chance to say a few words if you'd like. Oh, Mr. President and members of the council, I want to present to you a person that many of you already know. I'm sure it's pretty hard to live in the city of Los Angeles and not know Colonel Young O. Lim, retired, a highly decorated member of the Go for Broke 100th 442nd RCT World War II Army Unit. Now, this is one of the most decorated units in the military in the entire history of the United States Army and the military intelligence services. It is credited with bringing an earlier end to World War II and perhaps saving as many as 2 million lives. The Go for Broke Monument, which is about to be dedicated, honors all Japanese-American World War II veterans who heroically fought to preserve democracy, even though at the very time they were fighting, their civil liberties of them and their families and friends were unjustly taken from them. Their achievements have made it possible for Americans of Asian and Pacific Island ancestry to go from one of the most disliked racial groups in this country to one of the most respected in one generation. The Go for Broke Monument will commemorate the heroic role of in World War II of Japanese-American veterans and serve as a lasting reminder that no American should ever again be deprived of their civil liberties because of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or any other basis of unfair discrimination. And this is a small token, Colonel, of the affection and esteem which all of us hold for all of you and what you've accomplished. And it simply says, congratulations on the unveiling of the Go for Broke Monument, the monument that commemorates the heroic role of World War II Japanese-American veterans and will serve as a constant reminder that no American should ever be deprived of civil liberties because of race or ethnicity. Congratulations to all of you. And now, Colonel.
I would like to thank each and every member of the City Council for your support made possible for us to unveil the monument tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. In unveiling the monument, we will be presenting this monument to the City of Los Angeles. However, the foundation will still retain the responsibility for maintaining it. It will be hopefully a wonderful gift, and in the Civic Center Master Plan, it will anchor the future pedestrian walkway from this building to Little Tokyo. But I'd like to take a moment to introduce to you our new co-chair, Chip Mamiya, who heads our educational program and represents our future. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate all the efforts that the City Council has helped us with in building this fine monument. We hope that it'll be a focal point for the City of Los Angeles to remember, and for all people to remember about the civil liberty injustices that were taking place and that'll never happen again. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you. So now, if you'd like to come in the back, we'll take some photographs, okay? So let's go in the back. Thank you very much.
Mr. Holden? Wait, Mr.
Oh,
Holden.
hold it, there are other people on.
Right. I think Ms. Goldberg has just essentially said it all, except for the fact that Moss Fukai, they all know Moss, worked with Supervisor Hunt for many years, and of course he subsequently had a stroke, was part of this Fighting 442 outfit. And I know that when you left Italy, you were stationed just south of Pisa, between Pisa and Torre del Lago. You were at Torre del Lago, Pisa and Leghorn. And there's a group called the 90th, they used to call them the Bad 90th, moved in after you guys moved out. They tried to live up to your reputation, but didn't quite make it. The 90th Military Police Company was a company that I was proud to be a member of, but I want you to know that you guys held it down for us. Did a great job. We'll always be proud of you. Congratulations.
Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. President. That was a very nice presentation Ms. Goldberg made. She forgot to indicate that the monument is in the 9th Council District, and that we have been working with the Go for Broke Monument Group, Colonel Kim, for many years to see this come to fruition. Your reception tonight and your unveiling tomorrow will certainly be momentous occasions for our city. And as always, you certainly have my support. You certainly should have the support of the entire community for the very courageous work that you did for a country that had your families imprisoned at a time when you were serving in the effort to free the rest of the world from unfair treatment and incarceration. You blazed a trail that said that despite what was happening to your families here, you certainly were loyal to the United States and went way above and beyond the call of duty to see that the U.S. won that war. And I personally thank you for what you have done. And though I will be unable, because of a death in my family, to attend the reception tonight, I will be there tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Goldberg. Thank you very much, and congratulations, and job well done.
Thank you.
Call the roll.
Alatorre, Bernson, Chick, Fuhr, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley Thomas, Furnish, Wax, Walters, Ferraro. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mrs. Chick moved, Mr. Holden seconds. There's no objections, unanimous vote. Still have some presentation. Mr. Wax has an introduction, and then I'm going to call upon Mrs. Chick for
Yes, Mr.
presentation.
President, if I might just take a moment before the next presentation to introduce another group of students who are, I see in the back of the room here, who've come to visit us today. It's really very special that in the same morning that we honored the science team from North Hollywood High School, we have the advanced placement government class of Verdugo Hills High School also in my district who are here today. It is a very rigorous and extraordinary program, and these young people have established themselves as not only outstanding scholars, but people who have devoted themselves to their community and to their school with a range of extracurricular activities that is really exemplary. They're here with Will Reinhardt, their teacher and advisor, who has brought other classes here in the past to be recognized by the council. They are outstanding representatives of our school system and the kind of young people that will assume leadership roles in the future. And I wonder if the advanced placement government class at Verdugo Hills High School and Will Reinhardt would please stand and be recognized by the council at this time. We're delighted that you're here with us today, and we hope you'll come back on many occasions.
Mr. Hernandez for an introduction, and then Mrs. Chick.
Yeah, Mr. President, following the lead of Mr. Wax, I have the pleasure of introducing to the entire City Council 60 second graders from Glassell Elementary School. Would they please stand up, because they've been very quiet in the back. Again, there's 60 of them. Roland Miyake, who's their teacher, as well as Ms. Abiog and Ms. Lauren are here with them. And welcome to the Los Angeles City Council meeting. And I just shared with everybody how quiet you've been in the back. But thank you for visiting us today, and welcome to City Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, we should remind them that if they watch 7:30 tonight on channels 35, they'll be able to see themselves.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mrs. Chick.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. I have a very special young man standing next to me this morning. So often in the news, we hear negative things about violence with young people and problems that they get into. And sometimes it's hard to have faith in our future. But when we see examples like this young man, Andrew Glazer, certainly restores my complete faith in the promise that our young people hold for our future. He received his BA degree in International Relations from Pomona College. But after that, he marched into my office. See, we're hearing the voices of a lot of other promise for the future, too. It's a good sound. At any rate, Andrew walked into my office, and for the last 6 months, he has been a full-time, unpaid volunteer intern in my Valley office, serving the constituents of the 3rd District with as much vigor and talent and hard work as my very talented, long-serving staff. He has demonstrated all the traits that we want to see in our young people: hard work, loyalty, caring, a desire to give to the public through his own personal service. And he has contributed a great deal to many significant projects in my district, such as the Neighborhood Community Grant Program. He's a 4th-generation Angelino, so his family has a long history of roots in our city. He now leaves me, and I'm very sad about that, and so is my whole staff, but to begin a new adventure with the Coro Foundation as a Coro Fellow. And I am sure he's going to bring the same sense of service and community to the Coro Foundation, to the city, and he will be a rising star that I think all of us should be watching to see how his service and his caring of this community is going to play out in his later years. So in great appreciation, Andrew, I don't often have interns come down as they move on with their lives, but you've been very special and near and dear to me and everyone on the staff. I want to say thank you and congratulations on being named a Coro Fellow, and give you an opportunity to say a few words.
I'd like to thank the councilwoman for the opportunity to work in the office and learn as much as I have about the city of Los Angeles, and I'd like to thank her wonderful staff. You have a fantastic staff, especially the district office staff, which has put up with my jokes and been really kind to me, and I hope to serve the city again one day.
Fantastic. We need to have you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll go on the back. And now, a very special group of people I'd like to ask to come up and join me. And as they do, I will remind you that 50 years ago, much of the San Fernando Valley was rural, a mixture of farms and ranches and orchards, no freeways, no congestion, quiet, peaceful, and rural. It's hard to imagine the valley as being that now, and it's hard to imagine the valley without VICA, Valley Industry and Commerce Association.
And without water.
And without water. No, we have water. We have water. We want to keep water. We even have a representative of the Metropolitan Water District. 2 representatives, sorry, I forgot about that, who will make sure that we have water. I know your ulterior motives, Mr. Ferraro. In those days, the organization was called the Industrial Association of the San Fernando Valley. They started out with a very clear and simple vision: to change the zoning in the San Fernando Valley to bring commerce and industry and jobs to the many people who already lived in the San Fernando Valley. But they went far beyond that during these 50 years. They helped to bring many important pieces of the infrastructure that serve the San Fernando Valley, such as the Tillman Water Reclamation Plant, the many Southern Pacific Railroad overpasses, and the Metropolitan Water District's Jensen Filtration Plant. They have promoted the creation of regional commercial centers in the San Fernando Valley, Warner Center, of which I am so proud, and Universal Cities Entertainment and Theme Park. They have always advocated something near and dear to my heart, and I think to yours, colleagues, a sensible balancing of the legitimate interests of homeowners and communities on the one hand, and business and industry on the other. They have been even-handed in their approaches. They have been interested in other points of views, and they have always encouraged dialogue between sometimes competing interests. I want to turn the microphone over to the current chair of VICA, Steve Liu, who I will hope will introduce some of the other members of VICA and their very, very able executive director and one of those members of the Metropolitan Water District, Bonnie Herman. But first, Steve, if you could come up and join me. I want to present you with this happy birthday 50th anniversary. I think it was perfect timing as we go into the new millennium for VICA to be celebrating their 50th anniversary. And I know that all of my colleagues from all over the city of Los Angeles wish this very key and important organization a happy, happy birthday and at least 50 more years of thriving. Actually, I should say 250 more. Happy birthday. Congratulations.
Thank you, Laura. Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, we greatly appreciate this recognition. And I would like to introduce the people to my right and behind me and on my left, and then a couple other people want to say something. Of course, as Laura said, the president of VICA for nearly 13 years, Bonnie Herman, who's just done and doing a great job. Sandy Miller Goldman with BFI. Tom McCarty, who has his own company. I'm sure some of you around this room know Tom. Mel Cohn with Kirsch, Cohn and Bridge. Gene Waldman, who's an entrepreneur in the San Fernando Valley. Stu Solomon, who you will hear from in a few minutes. Rick Hill with 20th Century Insurance. George Wine with the Metropolitan Water District. And Marvin Selter, immediate past chair of VICA, who you will also hear from in a moment. Just a couple of words. VICA's been here for the city of Los Angeles and its residents for 50 years. We celebrate our gala 50th anniversary event tomorrow night. We will be here in the next 50 years, and I'm sure in the 50 years following that, working for the people of Los Angeles, ensuring, thank you, Nate, ensuring that the business interests are remaining of utmost importance and that there is, in fact, a balance. So, Laura, again, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you. And with that, I'd like to ask Stu Solomon, who was the chair of VICA in 1981, to come forward. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Laura, and thank you, City Council. Just a few comments. As you were honoring a lot of people today, VICA is really made up of a lot of individuals who have really committed a lot of their time and energies to the organization and to the causes in which VICA has so ably supported. And we're really very appreciative of each individual who, over the years, has really made a contribution to VICA. And I think it should be reminded that with the many accomplishments that VICA has accomplished, during the first 32 years of VICA, we had no staff. We had the support of the Department of Water and Power from a standpoint of secretarial support, but that was it. And it was only of recent vintage, the last, since 1981, that we've had staff. And that, to me, is, again, because of the volunteers and the people in the organization who have devoted their time and energies. The second point I'd like to make is many of the things in which VICA is so ably proud of could not have occurred without the cooperation of this city council and the city. The Tillman project that you spoke about was really VICA's advocacy between the federal government and the city government and bringing those two forces together in order to provide the resources and the morass of regulations that we had to face with the EPA. And the same thing is true with the Sepulveda Recreation Basin and the beautiful Lake Balboa and the Tony Bielenson Park we have. That, too, is a partnership that VICA really helped bring the federal government and their resources and the city government together. And it's with that type of cooperation that we're very proud to play a part and hope that this will continue through the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Stu. I think we hope for the same as well. Marvin.
Thank you. As the immediate past chairman, I finally have something to say because I got to keep quiet at meetings. First of all, I want to thank Laura for this introduction. Secondly, I think it's important to note that many of the members of VICA, both in the past and on a continuous basis, are much involved in city government. We sit on many of the commissions, we sit on many of the committees, and we participate as a friend and an advocate for the benefit of the city of Los Angeles. And a lot of this is due to the continuity of our chairman, and as we indicated, Stu Solomon from the 80s, me from the 90s, and hopefully for the next 50 years. And finally, I think we at VICA need to thank the continuity of leadership of the president of VICA, Bonnie Herman, who has taken all of our chair people through the ropes. Thank you.
Good point. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. I'm sure many of you will be there along with me to party and celebrate tomorrow night. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Mr. Ridley Thomas, we do have a couple more presentations, Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. President, members of the council, most of you are familiar with Mount St. Mary's College and its two campuses. at Chelan and Doheny. The Doheny campus is one of the great assets of the 8th Council District and the city at large. Today, Mr. President, members of the council, we are honoring the individual who has done so much to enhance the quality of life and reputation of that campus, and most significantly has worked to make the academic and campus environments reflect the multiculturalism of the 1990s. Mr. President and members of the council, I'm talking about Sister Kathleen Kelly, Vice President of Mount St. Mary's College. Won't you come forward? Since her arrival at the college nearly 20 years ago, she has been instrumental in increasing enrollment at the Doheny campus from 100 to 750 students and from 30 to 160 resident students. She has made education at Mount St. Mary's more accessible by developing programs to increase the recruitment and retention of underrepresented students. She created an alternative access program which provides a way for students who need more college preparation to earn an associate's degree before enrolling in a 4-year program. In addition, Mr. President, members of the council, she has established strong ties between the college and the surrounding community. So I ask that you join me in congratulating Sister Kelly for years of outstanding and dedicated service to Mount St. Mary's College, and to wish her the best, the very best, with her future endeavors. So this is on behalf of the entirety of the Los Angeles City Council, Sister Kathleen, that recognizes all that you have done, and we say to you that we are fully aware that there's more yet to come, and we take this opportunity with a great degree of pride and indeed satisfaction on behalf of the students, the faculty, and indeed the city of Los Angeles to say thank you for your tremendous contribution to the Mount St. Mary's College.
Ms. Miskowski.
President, I would just like to join with my colleague, Mr. Ridley Thomas, because I'm the council person who shares the other part of the campus up in the Chelan campus. And I would just like to reinforce what he has said, and in particular, thank the college and the members of the college community for the great work that you are doing with the community. Although they have one campus, the Doheny campus, and the other up in Brentwood, they have established some internal commuting so that they help ease the pressure on the neighborhoods for parking and the like. And both campuses are a delight and a precious resource in our city, and I thank you for the work you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this honor. I really appreciate your commendation. It has been a privilege to serve at Mount St. Mary's College these last 20-some years. Doesn't seem possible, because we especially successfully educate students who are underrepresented in colleges. And by being accessible to those students and providing a quality education for them, we are providing leaders for the future. Some of our young people are here today, and I know that they will be leaders of the future of Los Angeles. They are primarily from the inner city area for the Doheny campus, and we offer them an opportunity for an education that is a quality education besides emphasizing service. So our students also are very influential and involved in city issues and city problems. We have recently started a Center for Urban Partnerships, where our students partner with social agencies in order to try to bring about some solutions to our city problems. So we feel very much a part of the city of Los Angeles and very much a part of the solution of the problems of the city of Los Angeles. Thank you for this honor. Thank you to each of you who supported us and who worked with us in our recent building project. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Kathleen. Now we'll hear from Sister Jill Napier, President of the Board of Trustees of Mount St. Mary's College. Sister?
I would just like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to the entire City Council and particularly to Mark Ridley Thomas for your support and your appreciation of Sister Kathleen at this event today. So thank you very much.
And to the students and to the faculty, as I mentioned before, and to the Director of Student Activities and the campus's community liaison, Maria Lyons, we thank you and we look forward to the future because great things have yet to happen at Mount St. Mary's College, and we pledge our support in working with you to distinguish the college even more than it has already. Thank you so much. Maria, turn around and put kind of direct thing. We got a director here.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Wax for a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. It's a pleasure for me today to take a moment to honor a friend of mine, someone I graduated with from UCLA, Mr. President, and someone who has really distinguished himself as one of the preeminent prosecutors in Los Angeles and indeed in the state of California. Harvey Gifts' career started even before he joined the district attorney office 27 years ago as a law clerk to the Chief Justice of the Arizona Supreme Court from 1964 to 66. He assisted in drafting the original opinion in the Miranda case, a case that has had remarkable significance in the criminal justice system to this very day. After a short while in private practice, Harvey decided to serve society by becoming a prosecutor with the district attorney. And over the last 27 years, he has prosecuted some of the most high-profile and significant cases that we have seen here in the Los Angeles community. The Bob's Big Boy murders, the UCLA campus kidnap murder, the 710 freeway staged accident in which 3 people were burned alive for attempting to cover insurance fraud, Palisades McGard murderer, and a number of other major cases which he prosecuted, I think, over 100 felony cases in which he's been involved, but has become, in doing so, not just a successful prosecutor, but a role model for his peers. It is not a coincidence that he was named Prosecutor of the Year both by the Los Angeles District Attorneys and the California District Attorneys Association. He has established in the tenure with the district attorney a legacy of profound dedication to the justice system and to making sure and seeing and guaranteeing that justice is done in our society. And so I thought it was really important as he celebrates his magic 60th birthday to bring him here to the council to acknowledge that we have in our, fortunately, in our system, some of the really extraordinary people who could be making a lot more money in private practice, but choose instead to honor and advance the criminal justice system in the way that Harvey has. And so let me just read this, this resolve, Mr. President, but that by the adoption of this resolution, this council hereby joins the many important legal organizations in saluting Harvey Gist and applauding his extraordinary accomplishments, his faithful service as a prosecutor, and in doing so, protecting people from crime and serving justice in the manner that he has. This council delights in offering him a happy birthday and thanks him and hopes that his continued career as a prosecutor will continue to bring the great benefits to society that it has in all these years. It's just a pleasure for me because I've known Harvey for a long, long time, and to watch his career and to see him accomplish this at this point and to be able to be here now and to recognize him, it's a great honor for me, Harvey, on behalf of all of my colleagues and the mayor, to present this to you with a heartfelt appreciation and gratitude for the work that you have done.
Thank you very much.
You want to lead us? You want to lead us in happy birthday, Joel?
No, that's not till Monday. I'm still 59.
It would be the worst you've ever heard.
I'm a frustrated tenor. You don't want to hear from me. I'll be very brief for a trial lawyer. After reading this morning's Los Angeles Times and listening to KNX radio about Joel's comments of yesterday and the council's retorts, I'm grateful that my name was inked on this last week. I'm also fortunate that the council didn't require the presentation in the Los Angeles City Hall garage. Thank you very much for allowing me and Joel to be before you as a council. Levity aside, I know you give out these documents with regularity and routine, but I want you to know that when one is nearing the end of one's professional career as a public servant, something like this particular document and this particular moment is personally profound, meaningful, and very touching. And by the way, you got a great deal because you never had to pay my salary. I'm a Los Angeles County employee. As I sat here and watched other awards,
we pay part of it.
other awards being given out, I couldn't help but flash back on the hundreds of jury trials that I tried with some of the most horrible fact situations imaginable, including capital cases. But I want you to know that your Los Angeles Police Department detectives from the Homicide Bureau, who I worked with for about 24 years as a homicide prosecutor, were about the very finest a prosecutor could hope for. And as Mr. Ferraro would know, you can't be a great running back unless you have great interference leading the way. And they are the ones who garnered my facts, so you should be proud of your department. In concluding, I wish to thank very much a dear personal friend, Susan Lopez from the City Attorney's Office, who recommended to Mr. Wax that this honor be bestowed upon me. These things don't just happen in a vacuum. I have 3 wonderful children who are all adults and hardworking, and I asked them specifically not to attend today because I didn't want them to take time off from work, and because I know that I could copy this on video tonight, and I didn't want them to subject themselves to too much of me since they're going to help me celebrate my 60th this weekend. A very heartfelt thank you to the City Council and to Councilman Wax. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wax, and happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, then, next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
There's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 1 on the regular agenda is item notice for public hearing.
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to be heard on item number 1? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion on this? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. That's approved. I'm going to go out of order. We do have a public comment. We have, and we have transferring of the FAST to Mr. Hernandez. Maria Elena Durazo.
Good morning, President and City Council members. Marilena Durazo with HRE Local 11. We are here today once again to thank you. I want to thank you personally for your efforts to try to resolve our issues at USC. I continue to live on the corner of Hoover and Jefferson with the company of my youngest son, Michael. I haven't been able to convince my husband to join me there yet. But the fundamental issue continues to be whether 350 Latino and Black workers will be given a serious opportunity to keep their jobs in case of subcontracting. Today, Councilman Mike Hernandez passes on the fast to City Controller Rick Tuttle. Next week and the following, already a number of state legislatures have pledged to continue the fast in Sacramento. USC has not changed its position. We can only foresee a difficult, although unnecessary, struggle. Actions, civil disobedience, and the fast will continue. Please continue to support us. And we appreciate all of the city council members who carried on the fast this week with Council Member Jackie Goldberg, Councilman Richard Alatorre, Councilwoman Laura Chick. We appreciate your personal sacrifice in this struggle. And I'd like to ask Councilman Mike Hernandez to please step forward.
Thank you, Marilena. Members of the council, I just again want to recognize the courageous effort of Marilena Durazo and the membership of Local 11 in this regard. It was my honor yesterday to fast on behalf of what I believe is justice for workers. And, you know, at 5 o'clock this morning, I woke up, my stomach was hungry. And it was something that I basically was able to take the time to remind myself why I was doing it and meditate on it and the importance of it. And hopefully Council President Farrar will one day join us on this fast. And I know that Councilmember Wax wants to join us on the fast, and Councilmember Holden has expressed that. And I share that because it's been a good experience for me. It's been a positive experience for me. It gave me an opportunity to reflect on the struggle that's going on at USC. So with that, I have fasted for my one day, and during my fast, I've carried the symbol as a reminder of this movement. Even as I end the fast, my fast, I continue to doing everything that is in my power to help the USC workers have job security. And do you, Rick Tuttle, now promise to continue this fast?
I do. Thank you, Council Member Mike Hernandez. Yes, I pledge to continue the fast for justice that began 25 days ago. I will fast for a day and will carry this cross with me, which, as I understand it, is a cross which Maria Elena has had, Mike Hernandez has had, the others who've been part of this have also carried, Councilwoman Laura Chick and Jackie Goldberg, and I saw Richard Alatorre with it. As a reminder of my commitment to the USC workers, I believe that job security is a basic human right. I will do everything in my power to help the USC workers obtain respect and dignity. And as I understand it, tomorrow at about this time, back over at SC, at that Methodist church area behind where the trailer is, I will pass this on to one of your family members, if I understand it, Maria, to your oldest son. And so I am very glad to be part of that. Also, let me speak more generally for a moment, and that is, I understand there are people here in this room, members of the council, others who are working behind the scenes to try to work with the appropriate officials at SC to see if it's possible to resolve this in a favorable way, and I also appreciate those efforts, which I know to be ongoing, and also the work of other people who are loyal members of the alumni of USC who stayed very much involved with the campus, who are also trying very hard as well to bring this to a conclusion. People work in their own ways, in different ways, to try to advance this cause. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And that's all the cards we have, so the public comment period is closed. The next item.
Item number 2 on the regular agenda is item notice for public hearing.
Yeah, we do have some people who want to be heard on item number 2. Carol McIntosh and Lorez Terzazian, Robert Kachekian, and Farad Andrew Afafi. Go ahead.
Good morning, council members and president. We met here last week to discuss the recycling center located at 5300 Hollywood Boulevard. The reasons for my opinion in closing this down is homeless, drugs, and you had petitions that I recently gathered signed by business areas in the neighborhood. Glass on sidewalks, which makes it hazardous to passers-by, of which the city of Los Angeles, as well as the county, could get a bill for it. If someone would walk by that recycling plant, fall down, and want to take it out on the city could pay a horrendous price for it. Now, I do appreciate councilors' ideas on building there, but the homeless in the neighborhood, the drugs, it has to go. Thank you.
I don't know if I got these names pronounced properly, but go ahead.
Okay.
Give us your name.
Thank you. My name is Farian Andrew Afifi on behalf of Hobart Recycling. I want to pass a few words before the following speakers.
Did you fill out a card?
Yes, it was the last one you mentioned.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
It's a shame today, I was listening to the speeches earlier on a day of such recognition. It's a shame that on the same day we have to deal with an issue of shutting down a business. And the fact that we're talking about shutting down a business concerns not the issues that Ms. McIntosh just pointed out. She mentioned that she wants them out because of vagrants and homelessness. That's not the issue that's causing this business to shut down. The central issue that's causing them to shut down is a condition that was imposed on them, and the allegation that that condition has not been complied with. Now, as the council has been presented with some information and testimony, they tell you certain things which are not quite true. They tell you certain things that are not actually factually correct, and hopefully I can clarify that today. What you're told is that there's a nuisance here. What you're told is that at this recycling facility, there's been a nuisance because of odor and because of noise. What you're told is that as a result of this nuisance, conditions were imposed. And the conditions that were imposed provided adequate time to comply for the business owner here. I should point out that the business owner is a lessee, and this was discussed last week at the hearing. The business owner that I represent is a lessee here. We're not the owner of the property. They're leasing the space at $1,700 a month. But what's more significant is you're told that there was no compliance. Even though there was adequate time to comply, there was no compliance. And you're told that, and this is probably the most important point that I want to stress here today, you're told that there were alternatives suggested and that there were alternatives available, and none of those were explored. And then, of course, because of the failure to comply, you're asked to vote to shut down this business and revoke the license.
Nate?
The issue that I want to stress for everyone here today is that it is not a simple condition that our analysis should look at whether or not it's been complied with. It is an issue of whether or not you are to build a building 30 feet high, covering 7,000 square feet of land. What you're not told, council members, and what you don't have before you in information that's been supported by the BZA administration hearings and the BZA's rulings that's preceded these hearings here today. What you're not told is that the initial condition that my clients were imposed with did not require the building of a building. The initial condition required simply containing of whatever operations that concerned breaking glass. That was fully complied with. The reason it was complied with because there was no breaking glass anywhere on my client's premises. Subsequently, in 1997, and this is another important point, in 1997 the condition was changed to say that no, now we want you to enclose all recycling, sorting, dumping, and all sorts of operations. Essentially what they mean is we want you to enclose in a building the entire operation that occurs at this premises, 7,000 square feet of land. What they don't tell you is that this condition changed in 1997, and now the Hobart Recycling Facilities is required to put this entire building down. What they also don't tell you, and which from the plain language of the condition you can look at, the condition as amended in 1997 required Hobart Recycling to present evidence of a building permit and plans in order for plan approval. In other words, at the inception of the condition, by its very own words, Hobart has to demonstrate that they've got plans and permits for building this building. Why am I pointing this out? It's very simple. From the beginning of the condition until this very day, Hobart was not once given an alternative to come up with other solutions that would solve the noise and the odor problem. Remember, that's the nuisance that we're concerned about, and we're all concerned about it. But the condition as amended in 1997 didn't once afford anyone the opportunity to deal with anything other than putting a building up and complying. I'll be brief, Mr. Chairman. I'm almost completed, if I may. And I appreciate the opportunity to try your patience. I won't try it much longer. What you're not told is that the building would cost about $300,000 to build. What you're not told is that this opportunity never existed from the time the condition came till the time that I myself was involved in this, which was halfway through. We were before the BZA, and I wanted to present alternatives to the BZA, and what I was told flat out is that we are not here to concern whether or not alternatives exist. We're only here to consider whether or not the condition's been complied with. That's the only issue before us. I was told this flat out, and so are my clients. And what I'm really here to present to you is that, number one, alternatives did exist and have existed, and we've explored them. We have found the source of the bulk of the odor, and we've abated it. It was in one portion of the lot. It's been cleaned out completely, and it's been abated. We have found the source of the smell, and it's been covered with tarps, and I think my clients would like to present some additional testimony on that.
Okay,
but again,
thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and I ask again to reconsider the ruling here today, given the fact that a lot of the information that you're supplied with was not complete and not accurate.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's, your name, please.
Good morning, council members. My name is Robert Kachikian. I also own a building on Hollywood Boulevard, an office building, and my name of the business is Harvard Management Company. We own numerous buildings in the Hollywood area, over 300 units, and I don't see that they have been tried fairly. What's going to stop someone from coming and closing my business down? If this is going to happen, what are other business owners going to do? I don't think you've explored the reasons enough in order to close the business down. Thank you.
No, you can't leave.
Good afternoon. My name is Zorak Teragnesian. I own Westside Recycling, and my main concern is, as a business next door and within the vicinity of Hobart Recycling, I don't think they've been tried fairly, and the decision that the City Council has come up with to shut them down is quick and inaccurate, in my opinion, and it prevents any other businesses from going on, and they're concerned. Just like us, we're concerned about our Hobart. We deal with Hobart Recycling from time to time, and you know, it's a matter of time where we think that our businesses are going to be affected from decisions like this. And I'm concerned. I would like the City Council to make an effort to recheck all the decisions and reconsider their decision on Hobart Recycling. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's all the cards we have. So public hearing is closed. Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, I moved to reconsider because I wanted to check and double-check all of the facts. I have now received information from Daniel Green, who many of you know and have had an opportunity to deal with. He reminds me that the cost estimates provided by the operator at different times varied by a factor of 10. And also they were predicated on building a 30 to 40 foot in height and covering the entire lot, that the condition never required a building of that height, nor a building which covered the whole lot, that the building need only cover the noise and odorous part of the recycling operation. And the operator could reduce the scale of the operation, could utilize smaller containers instead of containers the size of a shipping container and the length of a flatbed trailer. The operator could have refrained from glass collection, which is the noisiest of recycled materials, and on and on and on. It's a point by point. This has been 4 years in the running. I only asked for reconsideration last week because I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to once again talk with the person in and zoning administration, BZA, who had been the most intimately involved with this, and he assures me that there were many, many opportunities for this individual to find alternate ways that were less expensive to comply, and that frankly he just didn't do so. And so it is with reluctance, because we don't like to close a business, but it's no reluctance in stopping a nuisance. And this has been a nuisance both as to noise and as to vermin and as to odor, both to residents and local businesses nearby alike. And so I move that we adopt the report as it's written, with the information that was included by the motion by Councilmember Misikowski.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this? If not, prepare the roll on the motion by Mrs. Goldberg. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That is approved. Next item.
Items number 3 through 6 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have been held. Mr. Ridley Thomas has called item number 4 special.
Item number 4 is called special. Any others? We have 3, 5, and 6. Any others? If not, prepare the roll on those. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Items number 7 through 21, with the exception of items number 7 through 21.
Are there anybody in the audience want to be heard on any of those items? We do not have cards. Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any specials? 15 is called special. Any other specials? If not, prepare the roll from 7 through 21 with the exception of 15. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Item number 22 on the continuation agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to move that we continue item 22 till Wednesday. I don't think it has 8 votes today either way.
Okay, if there's any objection to continue until Wednesday?
Well, Mr. Hernandez, I don't know if we have 8 votes or not. There's one way to find out. And I don't know, the city attorney is here on the matter, and I don't know that we shouldn't hear it. And if we don't have 8 votes, I'm more than glad to
we did
lay
hear
it on
it.
the desk.
We did hear it yesterday, so is there any information?
Well, I moved the report as it was before us, Mr. President.
All right,
Mr. President, members of the council, I'm going to ask for a no vote. There's not a lot of us here today, and this is an issue where consensus, we might want to shove it through and try and get it passed, but the reality, Mr. President, is I don't think the votes are here, and I was just trying to reach some kind of atmosphere of consensus building, but apparently that's not wanted by the motion maker. So I'm asking for a continuance till Wednesday, and hopefully these things could be resolved. But so I move for continuance till Wednesday.
Okay, that is in order, so let's vote on the continuance.
I would vote, urge a no vote on the continuance so we can dispose of the matter.
All right,
I'm asking for an aye vote.
prepare the roll on the continuance till Wednesday. Prepare the roll, tabulate
Next
the
time,
vote.
that's fine.
5 ayes, 6 noes.
All right, we'll take it
All right,
up on Wednesday.
Now we have, it was not continued, so
Oh,
we
I
have it
see.
before.
We'll
so
take it up.
I ask for a no vote.
Prepare the
Ask
roll.
for a
Urge
no
an aye
vote.
vote. The city, unless you want to hear from the city attorney, I encourage
I
an aye
ask for a no
vote.
vote, Mr. President.
An aye vote.
Prepare the roll,
No vote.
tabulate the vote.
7 ayes, 4 noes.
That failed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So the matter will be on the agenda until
Election day Tuesday.
next Tuesday. Next item.
Item number 23 is an item for which public
on
hearings.
Wednesday instead of Tuesday because of the election day on Tuesday.
We had a motion to continue until Wednesday, and it was rejected, so. Do you want to make a motion that it be continued until Wednesday?
Fine.
To continue till Wednesday. Ask for an aye vote.
All right, prepare the roll on the motion to continue until Wednesday.
I was just thinking I might want to take a vacation after that, but I won't. I'll come.
You're not allowed a vacation.
Oh, well, I was thinking of celebrating. So, but
Well, it may be an extended one, Mr. Holden. That's the
On my time, Mr.
democracy.
President, on my time, I was thinking of...
Both of you are out of order. Prepare
Thank
the
you,
roll
Mr.
on
President.
continue the item until Wednesday. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes, 1 no.
That is approved. Okay, next item.
Item 23, the continuation agenda is an item for which public hearing has not been held.
Okay. Item
23.
Public hearing has not been held?
Correct. Public hearing has not been held on item 23.
Okay, anybody want to be heard on 23? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. All right, we have 23 before us.
Item 23 is a request for the Ethics Commission to report.
All right, Mr. Savornich, I'll call on you first.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I think it would be most appropriate to have staff, if they are with us here this morning.
Yeah, we
I
have-
believe correspondence has been sent to you, Mr. President, and all members. I think it would be appropriate for staff to comment, and then I would like to be recognized.
Good morning, members of the council. Rebecca Avila, Executive Director of the City Ethics Commission. This morning, we hand-delivered to the city clerk's office, as well as to each of your offices, a letter that responded to the council motion that was approved earlier this week. First, let me state that the commission is handling the council motion as a request for information because there is neither an apparent nor an alleged violation of applicable state or city campaign finance laws. Let me remind you that contribution limits to ballot measure committees are not subject to contribution limits. We have reviewed the contribution check provided by the committee as well as their disclosure statement, and it appears that the committee's disclosure report accurately and completely conformed to the state's disclosure requirements. You also asked us to gather some information with regard to the contributor DLO Corporation. We have done so using publicly available publications and resources. First of all, according to a database maintained by the Federal Election Commission and accessible through their website, we have discovered that the DLO Corporation was the source of $475,000 in soft money contributions to political party committees in 1998. They maintain an office in Wilmington, Delaware, and we have obtained their telephone number. According to the recorded message at this number, this is the number of News Publishing Australia and its Delaware subsidiaries. News Publishing Australia is related to News Corporation, familiar to you perhaps as a worldwide media company. According to its website, News Corporation's operations include the production and distribution of motion pictures and television programming, television, satellite, and cable broadcasting, the publication of newspapers, magazines, books, the development of digital broadcasting, and the provision of computer information services. Locally, the corporation's interests include 20th Century Fox Studios, Fox Broadcasting Corporation, and the television station KTTV. In addition, according to their website, the company also holds an ownership interest in the Los Angeles Kings hockey team, the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team, and the Los Angeles Lakers basketball team. Attached for your further information is a list of the board of directors and the executive management committee of News Corporation.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, Mr. Savornich?
Thank you. I'd like to thank Ms. Avila and her staff for beginning the process and their quick response to the council's request, and I thank her for that. Mr. President, members of the council, the one question that I do have is, according to the correspondence from the Ethics Commission to all council members, in the last paragraph, it said that the telephone number is whatever. According to the recorded message at this number, this is the number of News Publishing Australia and its Delaware subsidiaries. Are the Delaware subsidiaries controlled by News Publishing Australia, which I would assume be an Australia-based corporation?
Well, actually, based...
And the reason for the question would be, is it not illegal for a foreign corporation to make contributions to committees and/or candidates in the United States or in the city of Los Angeles? We have to accept contributions from domestic sources. Isn't that correct?
Actually, Councilman Savornich, we probably should have attached the brochure on foreign contributions available from the Federal Elections Commission. I have a copy here if you'd like to take a look at it. I spoke with the attorney for the committee this morning who confirmed that DLO Corporation is a wholly owned subsidiary of another corporation, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of News Corporation. With regard to the federal law in this area,
And News Corporation is from?
it's a U.S. company. But that aside, with the question of foreign contributions, a domestic subsidiary of a foreign corporation is prohibited from making political contributions if they are financed by the foreign parent company. If they are not, then they can make those contributions.
And so has the Ethics Commission determined that there is no relationship between News Corporation and News Publishing Australia and DLO?
No.
There is no relationship?
No, we've made no such determination.
Okay. So it is possible that DLO Corporation is indeed a subsidiary of News Publishing Australia. And so, Mr. President, I think the answer here today, and I thank Ms. Avila for her forthrightness, is that it has not been determined whether or not this is a legal or illegal contribution to the Yes on One committee in regards to how the Constitution of the City of Los Angeles is going to look like after Tuesday. We don't know whether or not DLO Corporation is controlled by this Australia-based corporation, and I think that it should be subject that it is. Because if their telephone answering machine is saying, "Hi, this is DLO Corporation, we're a News Publishing Australia subsidiary," I think we should take cause to object. Mr. President, members of the council, if this is not one of the most gross, attempts to change the way the city government and the city of Los Angeles is going to be run for the foreseeable future, I can't imagine what could be worse than this, than a possible foreign-owned corporation under the guise of one of its American subsidiaries, to which it's probably a sole owner of it, sending money through to affect an election in the city of Los Angeles for the most fundamental document under which we all operate, which is the city charter. Mr. President, members of the council, I thank the Ethics Commission for doing the best job they could, but one of the things that I think has not been answered today is whether or not a foreign-based corporation has contributed through one of its subsidiaries a significant amount of money, in fact, the largest amount of money in the history of the city of Los Angeles, to alter the Constitution of the city of Los Angeles, our city charter, and I think it's disgraceful.
Didn't want to speak? Mr. Fuhr.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Avila, was there anything that you reviewed in preparing this response that wasn't publicly available information?
No.
It was actually very easily accessible public information, was it not?
Yes.
Mr. Savornich purports to make a big deal out of this allegation that some nefarious foreign intervention is happening with regard to the charter reform process. But in fact, this corporation has made contributions on the federal level, and parenthetically, it's federal law that governs here, since 1997, as far as you're aware, correct?
Yes.
And indeed, you submitted in response to this so-called motion the list of those contributions, which number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 9 such contributions at the federal level, right? And in the course of making those contributions, you're unaware of any even hint of allegation made to the Federal Election Commission that these contributions were inappropriate, correct?
Well, there's been nothing issued by the Federal Elections Commission with regard to any
Right.
Action.
I mean, the point being, yes, it's true, as Mr. Zvornich says, there has not been a determination made that these are legal contributions. That's right. As far as we know, there's also been no challenge to these contributions in the past, correct?
That's
so
correct.
there would have been no forum in which that allegation would have been adjudicated, correct? Fair enough. This motion contained a request for information that was actually first formulated in the form of an instruction demonstrating the misunderstanding that the Ethics Commission is subordinate to the City Council and follows our direction, which it does not. Then it was amended on the floor of the City Council. By the way, that instruction and the way the motion was formulated trivializes the important independent work of the Ethics Commission. Then it was amended on the floor of the Council so that that objection could be met. Then the Ethics Commission did what could have been done by the makers of the motion in the first place, which is to spend 15 minutes and find this information out through publicly available channels. Now, today, we are left with the ostensibly open question as to whether the former contributions made by this entity are legal, only because there's been no appropriate forum in which any challenge has ever been made. And I think that that is similar to the tactic that gave rise to this motion in the first place. It'll be a liberating day when the actual vote takes place on the charter, and it would sure be nice if we could focus on the merits of what reform is or isn't about, rather than sideshows like this.
Mr. Wax?
It's actually the point that Mr. Fuhrer made is exactly the point I was going to make, and to, I think, reinforce that, the information about the contributions they've made over the last 3 years came from the Federal Elections Commission itself. Members of council, there are several members of this council that are very familiar with the diligence with which the Federal Election Commission investigates violations of the laws, and the fact that they haven't done it on these and have done it on others that we're familiar with around here should indicate that there really is no problem in their eyes.
Mrs. Chick?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I rise to underscore the reason why I voted to support this motion. You know, people's motives aside, and I'm not going to guess what they were or weren't, but simply because this information was available as public information, as we all very well know, does not mean that the widespread general public gets this information, avails themselves of it. It's not so easy, for instance, for people in my district to get in a car and drive downtown and go and take a look, or they might not even know that they can, and certainly I would doubt they'd even know to ask the question. I supported this motion because I found it a piece of information that the public should know, that a $200,000 contribution from a company in a state far to the east of California was made to promote one side of the charter reform debate before the public. I think that's interesting and important information for the public to have. Just like I think it's interesting and important information for the public to have if a contribution of that kind was made in any city election. If I were running for office and received that kind of contribution from an independent expenditure committee, it would be important information. And quite frankly, I wouldn't take such a contribution. So rather than turning this into a subtle but fairly explicit debate about who's taking what side on charter reform, I think that those of us that usually like the public to have information about large contributions should see the motion for that and not interpret it otherwise. And I appreciate the discussion simply for the fact that it raises the public's consciousness that a $200,000 contribution has been made to weigh in on the city's charter reform election. Thank you.
Ms. Goldberg?
Ms. Avila, the fact that you got the information from the Federal Election Commission, does that mean that anybody looked into those contributions, or just that they were recorded there?
They were reported.
Okay, so they were reported. So if no one raised a question about it, is it possible that nobody's actually looked into it at the Federal Election Commission?
It is possible. I think their staff functions similar to the way that we do. Some of their
Okay.
complaints originate outside and some are internal.
So you see, I think, Mr. Wax and Mr. Fewer, that it's important for you to understand that if no one has actually raised the question that this organization might be a wholly owned subsidiary of a foreign organization, a foreign company, foreign-owned company, if no one's raised that question because it says Delaware on it, the chances are that this has not been adjudicated and has not been looked into, just like millions of contributions that are made for any level of government, including our own contributions, are not looked into unless somebody thinks there's something suspicious about them, and then they're investigated. I'm not saying that anybody's done anything wrong, but I also am saying that I think that we should not jump to conclusions in either way. What it is fair to say is that no one knows whether or not, since this is a subsidiary of an Australian-based company, whether or not this contribution was illegal or not. Is that fair or not fair?
Well, the subsidiary thing gets a little complicated.
Okay.
I mean, it's a subsidiary of News Corp. News Corp is also an American company.
Okay.
It's a vast multimedia, multinational
Right.
corporation. The other thing, council members, just, I mean, in terms of information for you to
Right.
consider, is that the information on the Federal Elections Commission's website had to do with soft money donors. I think you're probably well aware that this has been an issue of extreme national interest.
Yes,
and
it has.
both the Center for Responsive Politics and other organizations like them have done analyses of large soft money donors. In a quick review of their research, there are organizations who would likely have been interested in
I
ferreting
see.
out
I see.
a foreign connection, and that
Okay.
has never come
That's
to the
fair.
surface.
That's fair. Well, that's good information that I didn't have before I asked the question. Okay, well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate your quick response and diligence in this matter. Thank you very much.
You know, Mr. President, earlier I chose not to speak because I couldn't see the importance of the discussion at this time because I thought the motion had at least brought disclosure to the donation. Now I stand to speak because I'm really, quite frankly, shocked that we're talking about a reform election and we're not talking about how this election is being influenced by big money. We all know that the Ethics Commission was established and put limitations on donations for campaigns. And basically, this is an area I think we seriously need to look at. When people are making donations of $50,000 and $40,000 and $25,000, those are not necessarily the constituents that we represent and the voters of the city of Los Angeles. And they're coming in the form of corporate donations. And nobody's asking the question how it is that these elections are being bought. And it's shocking to me to hear people who claim to be reformist and wanting to run for office basically defending the fact that corporations should be able to make $50,000 donations, hundreds of $1,000 donations to influence the voters of the city. And that's what's happening in this election. That's what these reports are showing. And yes, we as council members have put in some of our office holder monies, but the dollars aren't compared. The voters are getting only one side based on dollars, and we're calling that reform. And some of us are sitting here defending that. It makes no sense to me. It is not reform. It goes back to the whole notion that these elections are being bought by corporate America, by big bucks. And it's not the people of the city who are speaking. And I think that it's a basic flaw in our whole ethics commission system that our elections allow for this to happen. And it happened in the school board elections, it's happening now, and it's going to continue to happen where money becomes the dictator of the policies of the city of Los Angeles. And that's what this disclosure is about, letting the people know who is putting up the bucks to send a message. But it's not coming from the people of the city of Los Angeles. It's coming from those who have, and I'm sure it's to take away from those who do not have.
Mr. Holden.
I was just trying to let some of my time run. I didn't really need it all. Mr. Hernandez spoke for me, but I'll add to that. The question has been asked and answered. Why do we need and why do we have an ethics commission? Well, because there was some suspicion that somebody could buy an election, own a politician or rent one, and they decided to put a cap on how much you can contribute to an individual running for office in the city of Los Angeles. It's felt that in the state where there is no cap, that happens. It's suspect that it's happened, and it may not happen, but they suspect that it does. I think most people who serve in public office are honorable people. Some may not be if they're tempted otherwise. But I would say to you that I am surprised, as Mr. Hernandez is, and many of you, for those who fought for and have protected the rights of the commission to be independent, are now backsliding and saying it's okay for some individuals who can give all the money they want to influence government no matter where, whether it be Sacramento, Washington, or the city of Los Angeles. It's very troubling, especially these very same people who have higher aspirations, and the public is watching. It bothers almost anybody, I would imagine, for someone to say, lift the cap in this situation, impose the cap in that situation. You know what that is? Height of hypocrisy, political expediency, and nothing more. Point blank, that's what it is. And I think the public is intelligent. In fact, I know they are. I'm sure that they will not be deceived at all by those who are talking and not listening to the facts, and the ones who really act like this. I think that Mr. Fuhrer, when he runs for city attorney, will have a rude awakening when he has to see once again the fact that he's saying raise the limit over here, lower the limit over there, and saying he's going to be in charge of enforcing the ethics in the city of Los Angeles.
Mr. Savornich.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, again. One of the questions that still remains unanswered, and I think that we should, of course, not beleaguer the point, but I think it should be made, is that number one, as with the Ethics Commission, as with the FEC, is that unless a complaint is lodged, they don't investigate. And so all we have before us is a sheet presented by the FEC which lists their contributions. Now, you can assume all you want that these contributions are legal, but until they are investigated and proved to be legal or not, you cannot make the claim that they are. And so, Mr. President, members of the council, the fact remains, whether or not we have a Xeroxed piece of paper presented by the FEC that this corporation has donated on the federal level to a host of sources, the legality of them or not. Because I am sure no one has, as of yet, made a complaint, at least not to our knowledge, and we didn't ask the FEC, we didn't ask the Ethics Commission to ask the FEC, whether or not these contributions have ever been questioned. And that's what we are doing here today. We are questioning the largest contribution in the history of the city of Los Angeles in regards to the most important election in the 75 years of the history of in 75 years. That's the question we are asking, because this one contribution equals more than all of the contributions on the no on the charter side. And we're talking about reform. Mr. President, members of the council, I would think that at the very least, what this exercise has shown is that a very few are working to change the government of the city of Los Angeles. And I guess the point that we want to make here today is that we don't mind if people try to buy 20th Century Fox. We don't mind if people are trying to buy Fox Broadcasting. We don't mind if they try to buy KTTV or the Dodgers or the Lakers or the Kings. We mind when they try to buy a new city government in the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you, Mr. Savornich. Mr. Wax.
The reason you don't mind if they try to buy 20th Century Fox or the others is because they give to most of you in your campaigns. Look at your reports and see how many of you got from 20th Century Fox, and see how many of you got from the Lakers, and see how many of you got from the rest.
Not $200,000.
Oh, you would if you could, believe me.
Well, some of
Oh, boy.
some of us have.
Would that we
Hold
could,
it.
Mr.
Hold it.
Hernandez.
Yeah,
Mr.
It's like selling paint.
And the fact,
Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Wax has the floor. Feel free to press your
and I
button.
think that that's the same company, related to the same company that you're questioning here now. And I think that just speaks for itself.
Thank you. Ms. Goldberg.
Well, I don't think I have any of those contributions, Mr. Wax. I don't accept contributions from developers. I don't accept contributions from city-registered lobbyists. So when you cast that brush, you know, it hits...
I said the majority of you because
Yeah,
I went through the
okay.
list, and I'll be willing to bet you right now that the majority
Yourself?
has. I went through those lists.
I understand, but I bet it didn't say DLO Delaware either. The point that we're trying to make, though, is not an invalid one, I think, and that is that there are a lot of people who are concerned about where the money comes from in these various campaigns, and I don't think that issue should be lost. I don't know whether or not we should be looking at that at this particular moment, but I do think we have to look at it, because at some point or another, the whole intent of what we've tried to do with the ethics laws, which is to move out some of the influence of some of these largest and most wealthy individuals and corporations, is certainly not being followed in this particular situation. I'm just hopeful that we can get back to that issue after this election is over, and because I do think it's an important one, and it does bother people, and it makes people cynical, and cynicism, more than any other single emotion, is what keeps people from participating in civic and public life. And we have a responsibility to fight that cynicism, and I think there is still more work to be done in campaign finance reform, and I think this conversation points that up.
Ms. Sikowski.
I just couldn't help but think that here on a Friday, as the council spent a good part of its session dealing with thanking a lot of community people and citizens and institutions in our city, it could have very well been that on this Friday we might have been thanking the Dodgers or the Lakers or another corporate or entity in this city for giving something back to the city, giving major corporate contributions to help our kids, to help programs, and we would be thanking them, which is the same corporate policy, the same corporate entity that we're talking about today through its subsidiaries. The other irony in talking about some of the cynicism that is out there today, the contributions that have been made on this, both pro and con, have come from corporate donors, either through the direct solicitation or through the office holder accounts of many of the council members on the other side. And those office holder accounts, I bet if you did a matchup with some of the corporate donations, would have been similar, under more significant limits as well. But I think that out of all of this has come perhaps the most important element, and I think there's probably consensus around this table, and that is that I think it's appropriate and timely for the council to consider looking again at our ethics and our campaign limits, and look at putting on the ballot a campaign contribution limitation for ballot arguments, for initiatives, and for citywide matters that are not elected office holders. And I think that there is, I would like to request the Ethics Commission to look into that, and I think it would be appropriate for a motion to follow.
Irrespective of the Constitution,
What was the motion? What was the
To
motion?
ask the Ethics Commission to report back to us on the possibility of contribution limitations for expenditure matters on initiative issues coming to the ballot, as well as the Independent Expenditure Commission, as much as, again, it needs to follow close constitutional guidelines, but I think we can make some headway.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Previous question, Mr. President.
Okay, the previous question. Prepare the roll on the previous question. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. We have Ms. Sikowski's motion. Okay, prepare the roll. Prepare the roll on Ms. Sikowski's motion.
The fund.
It would be nice if you knew what it was.
Yeah, follow your leader, Joe. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Now we have, is there anything, Mr. Savornich, that note and file? Okay. The next item,
Mr. President, may I ask for item 12 and 19 to be forthwith?
19 forthwith. Members of the council, we have 11 members, and we do have a couple items yet, and we do have the chief waiting to talk to us on item 24. So let's take item number 4 next.
Mr. President, if we could.
Go ahead, Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Yes, Mr.
You call it special.
I did, Mr. President, members of the council. There are a few questions that I wish to raise as it relates to item number 4, particularly number 10, and perhaps this is the CAO's report, is it not? If the CAO could come forth, and it pertains to attorney conflict panel, and perhaps the city attorney should likewise do so. There was a matter scheduled pursuant to the city attorney's request for budget and finance. The initial transmittal is dated 3/26/99. It was continued, and now we see it here in the context of a budget adjustment and one fell swoop, much of it. Can anyone offer an explanation as to what the process is as it relates to not following what was to be scheduled in the Budget and Finance Committee, and now gets wrapped into the budget adjustment without the kind of a review that would ordinarily be the case? And what's different between the two reports?
What's before you today on the attorney conflicts are charges to date of about $340,000 of bills that have been received by the city administrative office and audited by our outside auditor. The previous report that you mentioned included costs.
I think the first question, you're answering in terms of the content. I'm asking a process question as well as a content question. This was scheduled for budget and finance, and it was continued. And now, that which is the main of that report is being folded into a budget adjustment. And if such is the case, first we need to establish if that is the case, and if we establish that it is, why is it being handled in this fashion? What are the issues that cause it to be a budget adjustment? And I could suggest circumventing the budgetary process. And I don't know if members of the Budget and Finance Committee, and two of whom are here, have any knowledge of this, but it seems to me that these cases line up pretty consistently, do they not?
I'm not sure I understand the question, Councilman, but
does anyone at the center table understand the question that I'm asking?
Mr. Ridley Thomas, I believe when we first reported on this matter to the committee, there were two categories of charges. One was bills that we already had,
yes,
and the other was bills that were anticipated. When we discussed this matter at the time we were discussing this with the Finance Committee staff, we weren't aware of the situation of how much money we were going to have, and there was very little money left in the liability account. We determined that the most appropriate thing for us to do was to go ahead with the bills that we already had and not the bills that we anticipated.
I don't know that my question is answered satisfactorily, so I would wish for us to focus on the transmittal from your office dated March 26th, 1999. And there are several cases delineated. And I wish to know if all of those cases are being tied into the action that is now being taken, almost pro forma, without the kind of review that would ordinarily take place through the process of budget and finance. There is a specific case in which some of us are concerned, and I do not wish to be caught in an administrative maneuver so that this issue is on automatic pilot. We were caught in that situation before with respect to the millions of dollars that have been allocated. I am not inclined to do so, and I think taxpayers are due an explanation in that regard. Now, if I need to be more specific, I'm more than willing to.
I think I understand the question, Councilman, and what is before you now are only those cases where we have incurred costs, they have been audited. What was in that report contained cases for costs in the future, and those costs in the future for those cases are not in this
All right.
report.
Let me then ask this, if I may. Go through this report item by, how many items are we dealing with? Basically 10? What are those that are to be paid, and what are those that are prospective? Those that we've incurred expenses, those that we expect to incur expenses?
If you give us just a moment, we can give you the attachment on those cases that we are before you today to be paid. I don't have the report.
Because such a delineation was not made before.
Mr. Ridley Thomas, I'm going to...
Thanks.
We have, Ms. Goldberg wants to be heard on this item, so you can press your button again.
Thank you.
The distinction between what's before us and what is not is bills already expenditured versus bills we're going to have to pay.
Correct.
Right. And so the amount of money that we, because I'm looking at that same item that was from 326, and as near as I can tell, there's only like one or two items that are not on this list. And so those one or two items are bills that we're going to have to pay, but we haven't gotten bills for yet.
Correct.
But one of them involves a case in which it says that this is an amount that we're going to pay, and it's going to be paid, that it's a package deal. It can be no more than this, and that's going to include everything, including expert witnesses, correct? Mr.
Correct.
Cawley?
Correct.
So I don't understand the distinction, to be very honest with you. Seems to me like what we're how is that bill going to be paid if is that out of next year's budget? Is that it? It's going to wait till next year's budget?
Trina Unziger, Office of the CAO. That would be one option. We consider that would be prudent to pay the bills that are outstanding at this time, and that the bills that are anticipated could go forward in the next fiscal year.
And if the case goes to trial before June 30th?
It will not go to trial before June 30th.
So then you don't have to worry about paying for it until next year's budget?
That's correct.
Okay. And that was the determination you made in deciding which would go forward and which would not?
That's correct, Councilmember.
Okay. One of the problems that a lot of us have is with motions like this one that is number 4, in which you don't really have the information about what is contained in these broad issues. And the same thing I understand from my colleague, that when it went to the original document went to Budget and Finance, it too didn't necessarily delineate. I think we need to work harder when we say things like conflict panels. I think, isn't that what it's called, basically? I think we need to delineate what the cases are, or do something that lets us take a better look at it, because without that, I think of it as routine, and some of these cases are routine, but some of them are not. And I think that it is not useful for us to not know what we're voting on, even though we've read the documents. It's different if we don't read the documents. That's on us. But it's a lot harder, particularly if you don't sit on Budget and Finance, which I don't, and so do 12 of the 15 of us, or 11 of the 14 of us, don't sit on Budget and Finance. It's very difficult when things which are routine are mixed in with things which are not routine.
Ms. Sikowski?
I rise just to ask the question as to whether or not, and I don't know if Mr. Deaton is here or Mr. Cawley, whether this entire action needs to be taken today, or whether or not, because there are some questions on one element of it, which is referring to the attorney conflict panel and many cases that are included in that, of which there may be some discussion, whether or not we could take that one item out and continue until next week to have assurance that the members of the council's questions are answered as it relates to that item. So that would be item 14 on the whole budget adjustment, which we do at year end. We're still, this is only June 4th, June 5th, so I think we would be able to continue it at least 1 week on that one item. Is that
That can wait.
acceptable?
If that is the item to be held, yes. There are any number of expenses that we need to pay before the end of the year, but that one would,
Okay,
that would not be a
letting you
problem
go
for us.
forward on all the other
Yes.
18 items and
If you
hold
let
item...
it allow us to do that, yes.
I would so move that we delete item 14 from that recommendation.
Is it 14 or 10?
Well, 10 and 14 both deal with outside counsel. One deals with outside counsel on employee relations, and one deals with the attorney conflict panel. And I think that's the issue. Number 14, I think, unless other members of the council have concerns on item 10 as well.
I do.
Okay, well, that's all 10 and 14 then.
Okay. All right. Members of the council, if there's no objections, we'll delete 10 and 14, continue those.
Well, Mr. President.
For one moment, I just wanted to ask, I think that's fine. Is there any, I think most of the questions were asked, is there any crucial pending litigation fee that we mess up? Will a case not get handled for the next 3 weeks if we do that?
There might be in item 10. Item 10 does not involve the conflicts panel. Item 10 involves 5 other cases, including the Nexus litigation, in which we have fees outstanding.
Why don't, can I amend Ms. Zakowski's motion to just continue that, item 10 for that purpose until Tuesday? At which point, if there are cases that are so imminent, what? I doesn't, well, Wednesday, whenever. I mean, as the point is that we need to just ascertain that we're not doing anything to mess up a case that's imminent.
Is there any problem with continuing until Tuesday?
I'm just trying to clarify that item 10 is not involved in item 14 or in the conflicts panel.
Yeah, no,
Well,
14, Mr. Zakowski's motion is
on your
support.
time, Mr. Fuhr, may I, on
there's
Mr.
questions
Fuhr's
on
time with this submission, Mr. President?
Yeah.
Look, let's just be direct about it. The question here is there's a $430,000 item in here involving the Cavalier versus Holden matter. Many of us are concerned about that. Is that item number 10? Is that item number 14? And the point that's being made here is that we do not wish to have that just skirted through here without us knowing fully what the issues are and whether or not we want to comment on. That's what this is about. Let's just be honest with each other. Where is it?
I understand. It's not in 10?
Where is it?
It could not be in 10. If it were here at all, it would be in 14.
Well, we need to know where it is. We don't want it to slip now.
It is not.
Well,
It slipped before, and we had some issues that we...
I understand.
On my time, then.
It's
not your time, it's yours time.
Yeah, all right.
Mr. President,
It's not in there.
My time is gone.
the issue is that it's not here at all. It's not in either 10 or 14.
No, there ain't no time.
Where is it?
As earlier indicated, we have determined that we did not go to the...
That is still pending in Finance Committee.
The Finance Committee has not determined, this bill has not been received, and the Finance Committee has not acted on it.
Okay, so that solves that.
I don't know that it does, Mr. President. I'm up to speak again.
Well, Mr. Hernandez is next.
I just wanted to ask, change the subject a little bit. You gave a lot of attachments to the report, transfer, and I'm looking at a report dated May 19th.
That's correct.
That's what we're voting on today?
Yes.
And looking at some of these transfers, you're talking about bills that you have on hand. Could you describe what that means? Does that mean we've been billed, or does it mean we know we're going to be billed? And when I ask the question is, we know for example, we make expenditures out of our general purpose fund, and by the time they're paid, 3-4 months go on. But we know we made the expense. But you might not have a bill.
Council member, the process works like this. The amount owed represents bills that we have actually received and that have been audited by an outside attorney and checked for appropriateness. The anticipated future needs indicates the portion that the attorneys are indicating that they intend to bill us for future needs. Those, however, do not reflect bills that have either been received or audited.
Now, that's just in regards to attorneys.
That's correct.
Are we voting on anything else besides those fees? On some of these attachments and so forth and the adjustments? I mean, we're voting on transfers.
Essentially, you're voting on when we went through the mid-year budget report some months ago, we indicated at that time that we needed to rearrange some funds as we do every year, and that towards the end of the year, we would come back to you with about $20 million worth of other transfers between accounts, between funds, between the departments in order to close out this year's books.
Right.
And essentially, what this document does is close out this year's books.
Okay, so it closes out this year's books, but we can anticipate deficits starting next year's books.
I'm sorry?
Well, I'll give you an example, and if your attachment 3, 9899, year-end budget adjustments, transfers between accounts within department funds. If you look under General City Purpose Fund, it's your page 3 of the attachments. Okay, you have, for example, under General City Purposes, the Los Angeles Bridges Program, and you're transferring $60,000 from there to retirement defrayal and Medicare for new employees.
Correct.
Okay. Now, my question is, are we going to come back after July 1st and say, we have to pass a special motion to pay the bills for LA Bridges of $430,000?
Mr. Councilman,
because
Robert
we've had to do that.
We will not have to do that.
We will not have to
We
do
will
that.
not have to do that.
So this is money that has not been billed, and LA Bridges,
It has not been, it is allocated but has not been spent and will not be spent by the end of the fiscal year.
that is what my question was. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Your time is up. Mr. Wax.
I just wanted to follow up a little bit on what Ms. Goldberg said, because she points out the fundamental flaw here, and it's something we were just talking about. The issue isn't as much any one particular controversial item. The issue is that you don't even know what you're voting on. And we may have different views on any given item. We do around here. But the issue is beyond what Ms. Goldberg said. It isn't just if you have the files, you read them, then you'll know what's going on. This is supposed to inform the public who doesn't have the files what's going on also. So even with the diligence you might take in sort of figuring out what all this code means to get to the ones you want to get to, how in the world, if it's important enough for you, isn't it important enough public policy that it should be laid out in an easily understandable manner for the public? I mean, that is one of the gripes I have here all the time, is that the system almost intentionally keeps people from knowing what's going on until it's too late. Eventually it gets in the paper and someone reads about it all. But somehow, if there are matters on there that do involve controversy, that do involve public policy, it ought to be clearly on here so when people get their notice, the little notice that they have, they'll know about it and you can start here. Most people never get a chance to tell us how they feel until after we did something. And I really believe that this system somewhat, to a great degree, makes that a reality. And some days it works for you, members of council, and some days works against you, but it always works against the public. And that's what this is about. These calendars are the things that go to the libraries, that are out on the computers, that people are supposed to give notice. And if you hide things in the way that so often are done here, then you get the kind of government that breeds cynicism, Ms. Goldberg. Seriously, I just think that you've got to come to grips with that. We need more adequate, that's the whole thing about giving notice, early warning, early notification, whatever you want to call it, that people know in advance what we're going to do and have a chance to comment on it rather than afterwards when they read it in the paper.
Thank you, Mr. Wax. Mr. Holden.
To the staff, does this report include any individuals or council members or the city being defended in lawsuits?
No.
Then I move the previous question.
Okay. I'll tell you what, the previous question has been moved, but Ms. Chick wants to be heard, and so if Ms. Goldberg does as well. So rather than have the previous question asserted, why don't we proceed to Ms. Chick?
Yes, I just, kind of listening to what Mr. Wax just said and feeling also very frustrated that the information here is not as complete as I would like it to be. But we have a system and a process in the council where these issues go to committee, and in fact, what we have before us is a committee report. And so I guess we have two members of the Budget and Finance Committee here. Because my question is, was this discussed in more detail before although the chair isn't here, but was it discussed in committee in more detail than here? And if so, before passing it on to the council, perhaps we could have had a more detailed report from the city clerk. And I say that to point out that it's not always the staff sitting at the table that we should be directing our frustration to, since this comes from one of our own committees. Thank you.
Frustration assumed. Let's go on. Mr. Lee Thomas, Ms. Goldberg, and then we'll vote.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. The original transmittal that caused many of us concern indicates in rather explicit language, listed below are 13 currently active cases and/or legal contracts which require additional funding with a description of each case. It goes on to delineate those cases. Members of the council, you will recall that we had a very difficult time resolving how the council itself should dispose of the allegations involving Mr. Holden's conduct. We referred it to the city attorney's office. We did not have much involvement in it. And beyond that, we were caught in a situation when it came back. It was a matter of $1.3 million that we had to eventually sign off on. Our job, it seems to me, is to be proactive. It is to be vigilant with respect to not being in a position where we have to pay for an additional $430,000 in fees in that matter without our knowledge and full consent. So I take full exception to anything that puts us in the position that we were in before. It is not proper, and I do not think anyone here wishes to be in such a position. Now, the city attorney's office says that they need item number 10 to go forward because it involves other cases. The original document included all 13 cases, and that was just listed among them. So it would have this moved through pro forma. Now, let me just say to you explicitly, when that happens, it almost gives the impression that something is being buried, something is just being slid through, and hopefully it will not be flagged. We cannot be in a position like that again. That was a substantial amount of money, $1.3 million, that the council was obliged to approve after the fact. Now, this member doesn't expect to be in that position again. And so the case of Cavalier versus Holden ought to be called explicitly to the attention of the council and the Budget and Finance Committee, and I would so move so that we are clear as to where this case is and how it will be disposed of.
Okay. I think as we move forward, we have two more speakers who wish to be heard. We have one motion in addition to that, which is the recommendations from Ms. Mizikowski to withhold on item, I think, 14 of this matter, have that come back to us when the bills are actually timely. With respect to item 10, the amendment to Ms. Mizikowski's motion, which I made, was to have the city attorney to hold that until Tuesday, when the city attorney can report to us as to whether there's anything of necessity that must pass, and I take it Tuesday would still be a timely time, correct?
It would be.
All right. Now, yes.
My motion had been to continue 10 and 14 in 1 week. It was then argued that because of the timing matter, we might move it forward. Since there's been further clarification, in as much as the conflict cases are all entirely in number
Item
14, I think 14 could be held, and the arguments of 1 week or sooner. I think Wednesday was the date that looked agreeable, so let's continue 14 to Wednesday and let 10 go forward.
Okay, that will be...
Point of order,
the
Mr.
motion.
President.
Yeah, okay, because you're about to speak after Ms. Goldberg to be the concluding speaker, Mr. Holden. So why don't we proceed to Ms. Goldberg? Mr. Holden will have the last word.
Just looking at your attachment 7 on the item that was handed out as a communication from the CAO for today's meeting, on the last page, it lists amount allocated to date and additional amount needed on each case. And in each case, is the additional amount needed the amount that we've already been billed?
Yes, the report...
These are not estimates, then. These are actual dollars.
That's correct, Council Member. The report that originally went before Budget and Finance was timely as of March.
So in the Tipton-Whittingham case, for example, it's $300,000 even.
Actually, I would defer to the city attorney to discuss that issue, as that's outside of the
I've just
issue of
picked that. It could have
conflicts.
been Kemple versus city, you know.
That's what your people...
Are those, because the numbers are so round.
I
As
understand.
opposed to in B with the conflict panel, which looks more like bills, you know, $41,271. So I'm just
I understand.
checking here to make sure that we're,
I would always say those are figures that the city attorney gives us, and
well,
we
let's ask the city
record.
attorney. We've got
Right.
them here.
The items for outside counsel as opposed to, which are the first 4 as opposed to the attorney conflict panel,
Yeah.
are different in a number of respects, and they differ also in that respect, in that these numbers include an estimate of what it would take through the next significant level of the case. So some of those, for
So
example...
these aren't all just bills we have in hand.
No, again, for outside counsel, that is not true. For the conflicts panel, I understand what the CAO
I
is,
see.
and I'm not questioning that. But for the outside counsel, for
I
example,
see.
in the Nexus case, I know that we're looking at through trial for that amount that's being asked for that. That's $500,000.
Okay.
Thank
For
you,
those
Ms.
Thank you
four
Goldberg.
very
items.
much.
Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, I'm really disappointed, as well as surprised, you being a lawyer and the president, that you permit a member of my colleagues to speak out of order as relates to details of a specific case where council members have been sued, the city has been sued, we have litigation almost daily in session, but in closed session. And you sit there and you didn't say that he's out of order. What he's done is made it possible for me to take litigation. The court's already ruled that no individual member of the council can arbitrarily otherwise deny a defense to the council, the city's being sued, or an individual council being sued, or they themselves will be sued, and the plaintiff will prevail. Be assured of that. They have prevailed in the past, and they prevail in the future. So I'm just wanted to put that on the table to you.
Okay.
He was out of order, should not have been discussed, or to say what Holden did or did not do, which the facts will speak for itself. It's on my time. You don't have to be so rude to do that. The fact of the matter is, Mr. President, members, that I'll stand on my own in the future as I have in the past. I'll take not one step backwards when it comes to truth or false statements against Nate Holden. I think it is inappropriate comments to have been made. You've never been permitted, in the case of any allegations of any other member of the council, in a public setting. It's always behind closed doors, and that member of the council, when called into question, has to leave the room and is not permitted to participate in that discussion. This is the first time in my 12 years here that this has happened and permitted to have happened.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Holden. Given your remarks, let me just clarify that had the discussion gotten into specific details or allegations of any litigation your point would have been well taken, and in fact, we would have ceased that conversation. What had taken place instead was merely a discussion as to whether or not a particular lawsuit indicated by name with no factual references whatsoever should be the matter of an approved council action or not.
That is not true. He said, Mr. Holder's, no, he said Mr. Holder's misconduct. That's what he said. And you sat there and you accepted it.
Alleged.
All right.
Alleged. And let me just,
What I'd
point
like
of
to
order,
do,
Mr.
Mr. Lee Thomas.
Point of order.
What is your point?
My point is that we shouldn't let any member of the council misrepresent what was actually said. It is in fact a matter of public record. It's a matter of public record. I'm sure it's convenient for such to be the case, but it is a matter of public record to deal with the issues that we are obliged to vote on. And it is irresponsible, in my view, for us to pay for something after the fact, and we have objected to that time and time again, no matter what the content of the issue was. And this is particularly problematic, and some of us choose not to be complicit. Now, the allegations are what they are, and it is a matter of public record. No one's rights ought to be violated, but no one should be here thinking they're going to take advantage of their colleagues because they may not be paying sufficient attention to it. And we ask the staff to give us a full and clear accounting of this particular case when it comes before us.
Mr. Chairman, my understanding is staff answered that question and said it wasn't before us, and we allowed the debate to continue. And I'm asking you to play your role.
They didn't say where it was. On my time, Mr. Hernandez. On my time, Mr.
All right,
Hernandez.
no, excuse me, gentlemen.
Sir.
What I am going to do at this juncture is call the question and
Thank
have
you,
us
Mr.
move
President.
on the
Play
matter.
your role as president.
All right. All right.
And thanks for the leadership, because now we don't have a quorum.
Well, you blame the leadership on the lack of a quorum?
The lack of leadership.
But the point is, no
Mr.
one has to
Ridley
lead.
Thomas, you're proving not to be a consensus builder.
All right.
To the
let us-
contrary.
all right.
I'm trying
Let
to
us
be prudently.
Let us pause for a moment.
I object to my colleague, Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Okay. Let us, at this point, we have lost a quorum.
Why?
I don't know if we're going to have that quorum for this vote. We have an extremely important report from our chief of police pending. Our chief has been waiting for a long time to issue that report. Can I ask if we can discern whether or not we will be getting a quorum back? All right. Sergeant, could you determine whether we can get a quorum?
Oh, now we're told we don't even have a pro temp.
We'll have a quorum nor a pro temp.
All right. All right.
What's going on?
Yeah.
But then Chief Parks report, wait till another time. Yeah. Heard. Let's prepare. Thank you, Mr. Ferraro. Prepare the roll and tabulate the vote. Well, first, I guess we have Ms. Mizikowski's amending motion.
Which is only move item 14 over until Wednesday. Thank you.
Prepare the roll and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right, now we have this item as amended. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Very well. That matter is approved. Next item, please. Thank you
Item
very
number
much, Mr.
15
Ferraro.
called special.
Do we have?
Mr. Savornich.
But you know what I would like to do.
I can't stay because I told you why.
I understand. We are about to lose a quorum for very important reasons. Chief Parks has been waiting to deliver a report, which will have to be put over until Tuesday.
Mr. Chair, it's my understanding that the chief will not be in town on Tuesday, and this is very important that we hear this report.
I agree.
And I would ask if we could maintain the quorum until the chief has spoken.
No.
I cannot stay. I have to take my wife to the doctor, and I'm going to leave. Now, I very seldom leave this council chamber, and I'm
No, I think
offended by you.
No, Mr. Ferraro needs to leave, and it's appropriate.
Excuse, look, the fact of the
Yeah,
matter,
all
Mr.
right.
Farrar has a legitimate excuse.
Okay.
This quorum did not have to be broken.
All right. Given that we have at this point no quorum, you think? All right. You know what? Let's hold on for another moment or two
Okay.
and see if we can
Point of
get a
Ma-
quorum for this
Mr. Chair.
important report.
That the council meet as a committee, a public safety committee, constituted, and meet with the 9 members who are here to get the report from the chief. I don't
May
know
I
if
ask
that
the
would be
city attorney, is that
acceptable.
appropriate?
Council could
All
do
right.
that.
But I think while we're doing that, if we could just have maybe 1 or 2 more minutes,
Well,
you know, I
Since we're
could
gonna-
lead us in song.
No, I think, no, let us
Well, what is
proceed,
it that
let
you
us
wish?
proceed
We
as
shall
follows.
overcome?
Let us proceed as follows. Ms. Mizikowski has made a motion that those remaining here in the council convene as an expanded public safety committee. The chair of the committee
I see.
will buy into that approach. Chief Parks?
So we can hear him, so we stay here in meet in executive session.
Yes.
Thank you.
What is, okay, so Chief Parks, if you'll come forward, Mr. Savornich, what is your point of order?
There was one item left on the agenda other than this, which pertains to my district. I would like to ask that this be continued till Tuesday, please.
Yes, we
Item
can't
15.
actually take action toward that effect, but that'll happen naturally, Rudy. It's a
Well,
matter of course.
thank you.
Because we aren't 10 of us to take that action. No, wait a second. Hold, let me ask, Mr. City Attorney, does this item need to be considered in closed session, or can it be considered in open session?
The matter of Chief
The
Parks'
Chief Parks report.
I was noticed as a closed session item.
Okay, listen, okay. First, all right, hold on, time out. Time out. Mr. Savornich has a matter on which we can now vote because we have a quorum. After that matter has been discussed and voted upon, we will adjourn into closed session in order to hear Chief Parks' report, which was agendized as a closed session item.
Point of order.
Mr. Holden, what's your point of order?
Why do we have to go into closed session?
Mr. City Attorney, could you, I'll tell you what, can we do this?
No, I need, go ahead.
What I'd like to do is just, Mr. Savornich has a very quick matter, we can dispose of it rapidly, and then your
Move
question is
it,
in
Mr.
order,
Chair.
and we can have it answered. Okay, there's been a motion to approve this item. What item, this is item 15?
This is item 15.
Item 15 is before us. Is there discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Savornich?
Thank you, Mr. Fuhr. I would like to substitute for the I therefore move paragraph the following language. I therefore move that the council direct the Bureau of Sanitation in coordination with the Departments of Recreation and Parks, Environmental Affairs, Harbor, and any other pertinent city or county departments to report back in 30 days to the council's Arts, Health, and Humanities Committee and the Environmental Quality and Waste Management Committees on the confirmation of these types of water quality measurements and on the potential efforts that could be taken in order to remedy these water quality problems should it be confirmed that they do exist.
Very well. Is
Item
there an
15.
objection to that substitute motion? There's a second for it. Seeing no objections, let's open the roll. Close the roll.
Forthwith.
10 ayes.
That's been requested to proceed forthwith, and without objection, it will. Now, Mr. Holden has asked an appropriate question. Mr. City Attorney, could you respond to his question, which was, why does this matter need to be heard in closed session? Hold on, would you please turn his microphone on, please?
I have it. Mr. President, this is a matter relating to potential litigation, and it's authorized under the government code and under the threat of litigation aspect of that.
Well, is the city attorney recommending that it be heard in closed session?
Yes, they are. Yes, it
All right,
is.
Mr. Holden, you have any further comment you'd like to
Yeah,
make?
my comment is that if it has anything to do with litigation where the city might have to be a defendant in this particular case, and you're saying therefore it has to be discussed in the closed session, yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, so I thought we just had a case discussed earlier where it was not in closed session, and that's in litigation as well. How can you explain the difference between the two cases, Mr. City Attorney?
I don't think that the merits of the litigation
yes.
previously referred to are being discussed.
I'm going to call the tape. The tape didn't say allege. The tape says he's going to be sued. If the tape shows that we did not say allege, then he's a defendant. Be assured of that, and that's why I'm making my case. I'm making my record. You understand what I mean by making the record, don't you?
Yes, I do.
All right, so we're making a record.
Thank you for your
Thank
point.
you very much.
Now we will proceed to have a closed session discussion. Chief Parks, thank you for your patience. Can we please secure the room for the closed session discussion on this matter?